Hey, what's going on, Evan?
All good, man. You know what I love about your intro is I love seeing the evolution of Tony Taylor. I love how like you start off and you just had like a little table and got this little tiny microphone, or like you're in your living room or something with pictures behind you. And then like you start to see the progression and the quality and the studio. And now you got it all decked out and designed here. I love seeing a journey, man. So that was fun.
Oh, dude, thank you. Thank you for saying that. That means a lot. Coming from somebody like you, man. I've been watching you for a very long time. Even before I knew that I was watching you, I got a chance to tell. It's weird how full circle life is coming for me, man. I got a chance to tell Les Brown on the phone how much a video that he put out helped him so much in his life, and so much in my life that helped him in his life. And I got to tell him that, man, I was just like sobbing. And, when you fall, make sure you fall on your back so you can know which way to get up. But that actual video that I saw, it was on your platform. So I want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, dude, thank you for doing what you do. You're certainly an inspiration for me. But I know that you're an inspiration for everybody else that I'm connected with. As soon as I tell them who I'm talking to today, they're like, oh my God. But welcome to the show. I really appreciate you, Evan.
Cool, man. I feel that. Thank you.
Yeah, good. So we're going to jump right into it because I know that you're busy. I promise our followers of the show, our family, our friends of the show, that I was going to get to a lot of their questions. They're going to ask me questions afterwards, but I'm going to be selfish a little bit, and I'm going to start with me, right? Something that I've been wanting to do. Your why formula, right? And this was set the tone for it. I was listening to it in your book, and I was trying to figure that thing out. Can you break that down for me? Because I'm one of those people, even though like I have this big dream, but I still haven't necessarily developed my why, and I'm pretty confident in saying that.
Cool. Well, listen, let me acknowledge the willingness to share, right? I mean, I think a lot of people would look at you and say, but dude, you're the leader's lead guy and you don't know your why, right? And like, that's what leaders do too. It's like, you don't always have to have the answers, but you're going to go and find the answer. Yeah. And so I think I wouldn't have been able to do that at the start of my journey. So I acknowledge you for that, man. That's awesome. I think your purpose comes from your pain. I think whatever you struggled the most with is what you want to help other people through. So if you think about what were some of the most painful moments of your life where you felt worthless, that's what you want to help other people not struggle as much. So in terms of leadership, where were you? Like, what was the worst leadership moment in your life?
I would say for me, the worst leadership moment was when I was afraid I had all these ideas, I had all these visions, and I was just riling up all of my people, but I was afraid to step on stage because I'm naturally an introvert, so afraid to step on stage so much that I would sweat. I've gotten Botox, even now, I still have stuff around the studio just in case I get into a jam where, because I still have it, but I teach other people how to do that now. But I'm still struggling with, okay, what is that greater thing that comes after that? But yeah, I would say that's my worst leadership moment.
Okay, well then, if you're thinking about the greater thing that comes after that, let's step above. What's your most important core value?
Love and inspiration. Love for yourself and being so inspired that you can get over the things that are going in your life so that you can get the things that you want.
Cool. I mean, I love both. I love inspire. I mean, mine's believe. So they're brothers. We're brothers, man. We're brothers. Yeah. Inspire and believe. But that becomes the whole mission. It's like I want to inspire more, and that it's always in two directions. It's always internal. Like the next level for Tony Taylor is on the other side of even more personal inspiration. Tony needs more inspiration.
Yeah.
And this is a weird one to get. Like, I need more belief. You're the inspired dude. You got it on your t-shirt. What do you mean you need more inspiration? No.
It's a slap in the face so that it can bring me back. I think you talked about it before in your book. It's almost like that thing, right?
Yeah, I would look at it as like a kick forward, maybe not a slap in the face, but yeah, it's a hard kick, but this is where we have a hard time when we are known for something, or when you built a community. It would probably shock a lot of your audience to hear that you don't have enough inspiration for the next level.
Right.
You've inspired to get to here, and you can do things that Tony Taylor before, like Tony Taylor, who's afraid to get on stage, however many years ago, to now like doing this. You'd say that I'm never going to be that guy. That's crazy. Like you become an inspiration already to yourself, but it's the future Tony Taylor. Like what does Tony Taylor at 60 or 70 or 80 believe about what's possible compared to Tony Taylor right now? And so your next level of growth is on your side of even more inspiration. And so what does that look like? And that's the next challenge. Plus, then how do we inspire others? So it's internal plus external. Like as you learn and grow and you get more inspired, you share it with your audience and you let them come along. Now, the way that you do it, so it's like who, why, how, right? So the who, we start with the why, but who comes first, which is your most important core value. So if it's inspire, cool. You want to inspire the world. Awesome. But everybody needs inspiration, but who can we help the most? Well, that goes to our why. Our purpose comes from our pain. So if you really struggle the most to find the inspiration to get on stage and get your voice out and share your message, that's who you'll love helping the most. It doesn't mean you won't like helping, I don't know, some gamer guy get his channel started or something. Like, okay, it's cool, but it's not as core to you as actually helping somebody find their voice and get it out to the world. And so that will be forever, right? Like what a stage looks like is shifting. We're on stage right now. I'm standing in my home office. This is a stage now. Yeah. If we're doing this show in 15 years, I'm going to be hologramming into your studio or meeting at the top of the Grand Canyon together. But that will be the stage.
That would be cool.
That's where we're going. But that's the stage. And so if you can you don't have to hold on to the how. So it's who, why, how. The how will change. The how will shift. There's always going to be something new. New technology will evolve. And that's fun. You don't want to only do the same thing on repeat. But the who and the why, who you are, like inspire will not change. Inspire in 80-year-old Tony believes more in inspire than 2022 Tony right now. Like it's only going to be with you for longer. You'll have more courage and more boldness and more faith in what inspire means and can mean.
Wow.
And then the why of like, here are the people. Why I do what I do is because I want to help people who are like younger Tony. People who were afraid to listen to the whispers of inspiration, who had the voice there in their head, but like couldn't take action because they had limiting beliefs like, oh, I'm an introvert, or I sweat too much, or on and on and on. Those voices that shut down the inspiration, those are the people who you'll love helping the most forever. Like we'll both be, 150 in an old age home and still be making content and trying to help people and doing interviews.
That would be dope.
It never ends, right? Because it's a life of service.
Wow, man. I love the way you put that. Yeah. And you just married it from what you said in the book to now. It's come full circle. So thank you for making that clear for me. Another question, as far as business, I remember you saying before, and these are all the questions that I'm like, I got to know this, right?
Yeah, that's the best.
So I'm one of those people that I love people. I love inspiring people. I love getting inspiration from people. But my goal is not the 20 or 25 people. My goal is to have a big impact on this world. My goal is the millions of people. And what would you say would be the best way to make that come into fruition?
So two things. One, focus on who you have instead of who you don't. If you look at my journey and you see the growth and, 25 subscribers 1 year, and then, you've seen it on my webpage, but it kind of shows year by year how much I struggled and, in year 5, I have 2,000 subscribers or something like that. And it's like, well, how do you keep going? How do you keep making content? Because I always focus on who I was serving instead of who I wasn't. You sent me a message to make this happen. And I don't even know how many people are watching this episode. Like, it's not even about having X number of thousands of people watching this. I like Tony. I like the vibe. I'm here to serve. This is going to be fun. Let's jam. Yes. Yeah. We figure out a time that works. And when you can reorient, because the game of who we're not never ends, right? It's like, why do I have 3 million subscribers? Why is it not 4 or 5 or 7 or 10 or 100? Right? The game of who you're not never ends, but who you are and who you are serving. I think when you can focus on that, one, it gives you a lot more happiness and purpose to feel like what you're doing actually matters. Maybe not to the world yet, but to one person or to 3 people. And knowing that, the way that my video or Les Brown's video impacted you, like how long was it before you watched that video and you told Les that changed your life?
13 years.
Cool.
His daughter's 13 years old. I was homeless in my car trying to figure out like how to get out of the situation after I got out of the military. 13.
Cool. But so like there was this video that was 13 years old that you watched, and it took you that long to tell Les that it had a life-changing impact, right? Yeah. And a lot of times people are watching this video right now or watch other Tony Taylor content, and they've had life-changing moments and they've never left a comment to tell you about it. We default to assuming that people don't care and that our work isn't mattering. The fact that you see 1,000 views on a video, like, oh, it's only 1,000 views, as opposed to, well, why is it not 5 or 10 or 100? Or there's 38 views. Cool. Why is it only 38? We think that we're not having an impact, but assume that for one person, that was a life-changing video. The way you said it in that moment with that energy, that's a life-changing video for them. And in 13 years, they're going to come and tell you that video had a life-changing impact on them. Most people don't wait around long enough because they quit, because they don't think that it's having an impact. So I'd always focus more on who I was serving instead of who I wasn't serving. And it just leads to more happiness, leads to more motivation, leads to more feeling like what you're doing matters. To the question of, okay, well, how do I scale and serve millions? Well, one, by serving those people, they'll help take you to other people, right? Like if you love on your community and you're giving them crazy value, they will go tell other people about you for you because you're giving them such great content and information and advice. And then couple that with being on the most important platforms, right? Like YouTube matters. You should be on YouTube. Like long form content strategy on YouTube really, really, really matters. If you want to reach the world, you have to be on YouTube if you're making video content, right? And so being strategic about where you're putting your content, and just making decisions of, I want to be where the people are. And listen, maybe YouTube goes away in 10 years. Maybe in 10 years, it is about hologram us and it's a completely different platform. Maybe it's Tony Taylor's company that launches this thing. Everybody's going to be on the Taylorgram, right?
That would be amazing.
Taylorgram, and it's going to be hologram interviees, right? So you can get off YouTube and get on Telegram. That's where you got to be.
That would be awesome. I bet you my son, he's a really good producer. He's going to be watching this because of course this is recorded. He's going to be like, see, I told you, Dad, you got to get on freaking YouTube. I don't want to hear no more about that LinkedIn, because I'm crazy on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Wait, is this not going on YouTube, Tony?
No, dude. Because I'll be really honest, because I haven't figured out the YouTube formula, and I get like 5 views on YouTube, and I'm like, okay, maybe I just focus on the things that are working, like the big community that I've developed on LinkedIn. So I'm messing it. I'm getting it wrong, huh?
Yeah. I'm looking at the little footer now in our video, and there's no YouTube link there. It's Twitter and Facebook, dude. Come on, and Instagram and LinkedIn. Yeah.
LinkedIn's my baby. Yeah.
Well, but like, here's the thing. I don't care about YouTube, right? Okay. Like it's not going to be the thing. I'm going to go to Telegram in a couple of years, right? That's where we're going. But for now, YouTube, if you're making education content like this, okay, you have to be on YouTube. YouTube gives you the best long-term sustain. Like you're building a mission for life here. YouTube, the content you make now in a year and 2 years and 5 years and 10 years is still getting my videos from 10 years ago are still getting me views.
Wow.
The other platforms don't work that way. And so this is less of a, it's just an education gap.
Wow.
YouTube has proven that it works, right? Like every big podcast has a YouTube channel, right? Joe Rogan blew up because of his YouTube channel, making like 3-hour, 4-hour videos. YouTube definitely works. You just don't understand how it works yet.
Right.
And yet is the key word. That everything you can figure out. But it has the highest upside leverage of all the platforms. So this is where we can date. Well, LinkedIn's my baby. Well, no, your son is your baby. LinkedIn is just a platform.
That's good. That's good.
Right? Like the community is your baby, I guess, right? Like my community is my baby, but the YouTube, I'm not attached to you as much as I'm the YouTube guy, and you win awards and put up plaques and stuff, but it's much more about the impact. And you'll get that. Like if your goal, to your question, is I want to reach millions, you have to figure out YouTube.
Maybe I'm just, you just dug something deep in me. Maybe I'm afraid.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's hard to start over, and it's hard to see 5 views on a video, and sure. But what do you coach leaders to do? What do you coach new speakers to do?
Patient and follow the process.
And you figure it out. You find mentors and you figure it out, and you go and you expect to suck, and the first version is not going to be great, and you're going to be sweating like crazy, and then you go up and you do it, and you do it again, and you get better. Just like watching, dude, what did I say how we started this interview? It was like, dude, I love the evolution of Tony Taylor from this guy sitting at this little desk with this tiny microphone to then all of this, like you can literally see clip by clip how much you're growing and evolving and getting better. And that's what it's going to be on every platform. You didn't just get on LinkedIn and then all of a sudden you crushed it and everything started popping hard. Like you've nurtured that, you watered that plant, and now it's growing. And you've just been neglecting YouTube. And again, who cares? But it matters if to your question of I want to serve millions, well, YouTube is the best platform to go off and serve millions with educational content, right? Okay. If you're hitting inspiration or little clips and moments, you need to have TikTok.
Okay.
You need to be on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like TikTok and Instagram are the inspirational little pieces, and YouTube is the long form educational content. And that means you cut Facebook and Twitter. Cool.
Yeah. Okay. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. My brain is, and I got gears churning. I'm already thinking about execution.
It's the willingness. Like, how old are you right now?
I am 39.
Cool. I'm 42.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And it's the willingness to like get excited by the new thing. Because when a new thing comes out, the new platform, TikTok comes out, it's easy to say, not another stupid thing I have to learn. I just figured out LinkedIn. Now I got to learn TikTok. I got to do stories. But like, that's not how leaders win.
Ooh.
Right? It's like you have to stay on top of the thing, and it's a mindset shift to get excited that this is not a new thing to learn and more work for you. It's a new way to impact people.
Okay. That's beautiful.
Because otherwise we never create Taylorgram.
Yeah. I like the sound of that.
Taylorgram?
Yeah. I think that sounds dope. That's cool. Starbucks. I love Starbucks. Do you come to Seattle often?
I don't, but I finished my first book at Pike Place.
Oh, wow.
At the original, I was writing my first book, Your One Word. And, I was like on the very last few pages, and I went to Pike Place. And for those that don't know, Pike Place is like the original place in Seattle where they had the very first Starbucks.
They're going to love to see this, by the way.
Well, yeah. So it's a tiny little shop with the original logo of the mermaid or Medusa or whatever. And I asked, hey, because nobody sat there. They have seats, but people just kind of come in and out. Said, would you mind if can I sit here and just finish my book? And the barista's like, yeah, nobody ever wants to actually sit here and treat it like a cafe. They're just taking pictures and it's a tourist attraction. So I sat there for about 2 hours and I finished the book, my very first book, and I sent it off to my literary agent and publisher. And then I bought this on that day as the reminder. You taking a picture? You gonna show?
No. Something's.
You getting inspired?
No.
What are we doing?
No. I can't see you no more. My screen is froze up, and so what I'm doing is I'm going to emergency protocols.
I like emergency protocols. I can keep talking. I saw you, by the way, though. I saw you fine. I saw you pull out your phone. I saw that you were fine. Anyway, so I went to the Starbucks and I finished my first book. And I thought it was inspiring. I finished my first book at the very first Starbucks. I sent it off. And so I bought a pack of their coffee. Now at that point, this coffee is 6 years old or something. So I'm not going to open that up and eat it, or drink it. But it was, it was a special moment to really get the first book out. I think, while we wait for, Tony kind of figure out his side, a lot of this just comes down to momentum. A lot of this just comes down to you've got a great idea inside you. And as long as it's coming from the right place, that you want to serve, that you want to help, that you want to give, that you're trying to contribute to other people, that you owe it to yourself to do something about it. Where what happens when you come up with an idea? You come up with a great idea, right? Like, oh man, maybe you're watching this episode. Like, I'm going to start my YouTube channel, or I'm going to start a LinkedIn account, or I'm going to start a podcast. And then what ends up happening is almost immediately the little voice inside your head tells you that you can't do it, right? That you're shy, you're introverted, that you're not good enough. You didn't go to school for this. You don't have the parents to teach you. You don't have the connections. You're from the wrong country. You're the wrong gender. You're the wrong X, right? Like there's always some story in our head as to why we can't do it. It's not even our friends and family telling us we can't do it. It's us. It's ourselves telling us that we can't do it, right? And so the very first thing you need to do is just start taking action, imperfect action, because that first step is the most important one. And then you figure it out as you go, right? And yes, you get mentorship, and yes, you get learning, and yes, you listen to podcasts and shows, and you get a community, and you join masterminds, and you just try to be around the people who are doing it. But the most important thing is just building that initial momentum. Because otherwise you've got this great idea that just sits in your head that never gets executed on. I remember I was doing this event. I was speaking at an event talking about momentum, and there was this person in the front row, and I asked people, put up your hands. Who's been sitting on an idea for more than a year? Right? And almost everybody puts their hands up. Like, you've got a great idea. You've kind of been sitting on it for more than a year. Cool. Who's been sitting on it for more than 5 years? Some of the hands go down. Who's been on it for 10 years? He's back.
Oh my God, Evan. Thank you, dude.
He's back. Do you want me to finish? Well, we got 2 minutes left.
Go on. I just have one more question.
What's your question?
I was going to ask you as far as scaling. We have in our business, it's speaking, podcasting, and coaching. And we're in a position right now where we're trying to figure out how do we scale, because we're getting shot at different angles, and we're just like, oh my God, this could be a good opportunity. This could be a good opportunity. None of them really big, but how do we scale this thing into where we can actually serve more people?
Which one's working the best right now?
The podcast. The podcast. It's almost like I meet amazing people like yourself, and then other things will come from it. And then next thing you know, I'm coaching or I'm doing speaking based off of it. But
so when you're thinking scale, it's a combination of content and team. Content and team. So that, I got 40 people on my team. So I can do a lot more and make more content that I have more people as opposed to just being me. And again, seeing the evolution of Tony Taylor at the beginning, it was Tony sitting with his little microphone at this little table. And now when the stream goes down, he's got somebody to call an emergency and like, hey, what are we doing? Like, we're starting to build team. You can go a lot further. So if the podcast is the thing that's generating the most results, then more content and more team. So, if you're doing, how often is a podcast? Once a week?
Twice a week.
Cool. Go daily. It's a daily podcast.
Okay.
We're going on YouTube.
Daily.
Right? Like content, more Tony Taylor, right?
Okay.
More. And then team to support that. So right now you're doing too much. And it's fine for twice a week, but if you're going to go daily, you can't do as much as you're doing right now per show.
Okay.
So now you got to think, okay, if I'm scaling by going daily on my show, what's my zone of genius? Where am I gonna focus on so that other people can come in, and who would I need to hire? Maybe that's another assistant, or maybe it's a full-time assistant, or maybe it's an editor, or maybe it's like whoever you need to bring on to make that happen so that you can stay focused on doing the thing that you do more at scale.
Yeah.
And then the only one last thing I'll add in is whatever you want to make money doing, show me you doing it. And I know we're up against the clock, but
Okay.
if you want to coach, and that's your business is coaching, show me you coaching. In doing this, I see that you're a great interviewer. You ask great questions. You're authentic. You're curious. But I don't know that you're a great coach from this. I don't know that you're a great speaker from this. You're a Larry King. You're asking great questions, and that's great. But what's the business? If you want to sell coaching, show me you coaching. So maybe one episode per week on your podcast is actually you coaching somebody.
Okay.
Have them come on and say, "Hey, Tony, I'm struggling with this area of my life," and then you help them. You coach.
Okay. Wow.
Have you been like the Tony Robbins event or?
No, I've never been to one. They're freaking. They seem to be really expensive. I've never done.
Well, that's cool. Like the best part of any event like that is not the content; it's the coaching. It's like when a speaker will pull somebody up. Even what we did here, like the beginning was coaching. Hey, I'm struggling to figure out my why. That's coaching.
Okay.
That's the best part of events. So if you're a great coach, that should be content so that I can see you coaching. And then I would want to hire you to be my coach, or you build a system where you have 80 Tony Taylor coaches underneath you. And then I'm hiring one of Tony's coaches, right? And then speaking, if you want to be a speaker, again, from this interaction, I don't see you as a speaker.
Okay.
And it doesn't make sense. You don't want to have a guest on and then you're speaking, right? I mean, but that should be part of your content so that I can see you on stage. Even if you're going to YMCAs and schools and university and TEDx talks and whatever, if I see Tony Taylor speaking, I'm more likely to want to see you as a speaker and then hire you to speak at my next thing. So whatever you want to make money doing, make video of you doing the thing, not a promo video of you saying, by the way, guys, I do coaching and speaking. Let me see you actually coach and speak.
Okay.
So a daily show across the right platforms. So we need to add YouTube and TikTok to this. And you need to get excited with the impact you're going to have by reaching people on those platforms. And then if 5 of the shows are interviews or whatever the cadence is, we need at least a weekly series of you coaching people one-on-one. Flip this, like this could be my coaching show.
Yeah.
Right? But you're just as good at this on the thing that you're great at, right? You're magical as a coach for what you do, but that's great content for people, and it helps and it inspires and it teaches people. And then speaking, we need to see Tony speaking more. That's what I do.
Wow. Evan, and this part won't be on the video. I was going to ask you before you take off, how is there any way that I can serve you? Like, I'm not saying I want anything from it, but I love what you're doing. I love your mission. And dude, I want to serve you. Is there something that I can do to serve you?
Well, it's a great question. You can keep it in, and I have to go, but like the best way to serve is to do the work. Like if a mentor, if you're coaching somebody, you tell them, hey, student, go do these 3 things. And they don't do the things, but then they buy your book. It's like, but the best thing you can do is value my time and take the advice. Like the best way to serve me is open up your YouTube channel, Tony, and your TikTok, Tony. Like that's the best. Like you're listening more than let me buy 100 copies of your book or like whatever the thing is. Like that is the best thing because I want to see you in less than 13 years saying how like this conversation made a huge difference and blew you up.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Keep that in. Keep that in.
You. Okay, I will.
I love you, man. See you soon.
I love you too. Thank you so much, brother.
Cheers.
All right. Bye-bye. Oh, my God. That was Evan Carmichael. So I guess we're starting a YouTube channel. We have it, but yeah, that's really interesting. I was just thinking about the question that I just asked, right? Not specifically the question about YouTube, the answer to that because everybody that I talk to, they're like YouTube, because it's evergreen content material for our business. But the whole servant part, that's something that if y'all don't know, that's what I do on Leaders Lead the Podcast. I ask everybody that comes on as a guest, like, how can I serve them? What is there to do that you need done, that you need help with? And that's how I am with my community. I want to legitimately help those that are in my community. So a takeaway from that, he said, take the advice that he gave and execute and make it happen. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to make it happen. Stay tuned. Leaders Lead the Podcast. Again, I'm super excited. I'm super grateful for everybody that's tuned in. Until next time, thank you.